Welcome back. In the last video, we learned how to place things using coordinates. But right now, our shapes are all the same size and pretty dull in colors. They're all gray. Today we're going to make them bigger, smaller, rounder, more colorful, and we're going to introduce some blocks that will give you more control over your art. So we're going to start with the rect block. See, this rect block is in the drawing drawer. So you click on the drawing tag here and it shows you all the drawing codes that you have already made for you. Now this is for beginners, so all the codes are already prepared for you here in this library and you can just drag and drop them in the right place. So we can start with rect. In the code here we have four numbers, four parameters. We call them parameters. So those four numbers or parameters would control where the rectangle is going to be placed and the width and height of the rectangle. So four numbers, one is for x, one is for y, one is for the width, and one is for the height. So I'm gonna run and we're gonna see what's gonna appear on the screen. So this rectangle appears at x and y 100 and 100 with 200 as width and 200 as height. I'm gonna click on show grid so we can examine this. Here, as you can see, 100 and 100 is two squares on the grid to the right side, that's the x-axis, and two squares down, that's the y-axis. So 100 and 100 gets us to this point. This is where the top left corner of the rectangle will be drawn at this point. So the width is 200 and the height is 200. So 200 is four squares because each square is 50 in width and 50 in height. So four squares wide and four squares in height. It draws this square. Now this is how the parameters work. I'm going to show you other shapes you can draw. Another shape you can draw is the ellipse. Ellipse draw a circular or an oval shape, depending on the width and height of the shape itself. So let's place the ellipse over here. So this point is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 squares and one square down. So that's 200 for 4 squares and one square down is 50. I'm going to make the size 50 and 50 so it would not overlap with the rectangle. Now if I draw it, here 50 and 50 is the width and the height of the ellipse. If I make this 150, see what's going to happen. So I made it 250, so it's the same position. And 150, meaning 100 in width, so it's going to be two squares wide. And 50 in height, it's not going to change its height. And I'm going to run again to see the changes. So now it's looking more like an oval, because the width and the height are not equal to one another. So let's try to play around with the width and the height of the rectangle. I'm going to change the width and the height of the rectangle to be 50 and 50 as well. Now it's much smaller. I'm going to make the height 100 to see what's going to happen. Now it's longer. It's two squares. I'm going to click on show grid so you can see it. It's two squares in height. Okay, so now we know how to change the dimensions of the shapes. Now I want to show you how you can change the colors of the shapes. You can use this fill code. The fill code makes you able to choose the color either through choosing one of the colors from the drop-down menu or adding the RGB code for the color. So let's try and choose one of those ready colors. Click on blue. Now when I run it, they're going to be blue in color. And if I click on red, they're going to be red in color. Now if I want to choose the RGB one so I can have more control over the colors, I click on RGB and then I can control the colors through those three numbers, R, G, and B. So that stands for red, green, and blue, a mix of red, green, and blue. Now the red is 255, which is the maximum, 0 green, 0 blue. What we're going to have is a fully red color. If I make it into 0 red, 255 green, and 0 blue, we're going to have the green color. And if I mix them up, red and green, I think gives me an orange. It gives me olive green. And if I add some blue to it, it's going to give me a grayish green somehow. So you can try and control the colors using those three. Now to check the combinations of RGB colors, you can go to Google and then you can search RGB color picker. And here you can see, you can check the RGB color picker and then you can choose the color you want with the shade you want. So you choose the color you want from this scroll bar. And then you can choose the shade you want by clicking on the shade you want it to be. And then you're going to find the RGB combination at the bottom. So imagine I want to make it into an orange color. So I'm going to go to orange on the scroll bar and then I'm going to choose the shade I want. So let's say I want this shade. I'm going to get the RGB code for it. So 227126443. Now I'm going to go back here and choose the colors 227 126 and 43. Now they're gonna have the orange shade that I was looking for. So this is how you add some shapes. You control their sizes and you add some color to them. The last thing we're gonna talk about before we end this lesson is the background code, which is this one here. You can grab this one so you can add background to your display area. So click here and then you can choose the color you want to, or you can choose the RGB color code as well. If you go with the RGB color code, I'm gonna go back to the picker. I'm gonna choose a background. Let's make it like a sky blue. Let's say this is sky blue. And here I'm gonna have the RGB codes for that color, 51, 166, and 242. 51, 166, and 242. Now if I run it, I'm gonna have the background color as the one I picked. Those are not the only shapes you can add. You can add regular polygons, you can add points, you can add lines, or you can add arcs. You can also add text. So you can experiment with those different shapes and you can see how they work. In the next video, we're going to combine all these tools to draw a complete scene, a landscape with mountains, clouds, and maybe a house. Stay tuned and follow for more tutorial videos on how to use GameLab and Code.org.